I think this is a good topic to talk about in terms of what is a good founder to VC interaction. Now I recall a conversation that we had at Galvanize many years ago where you were talking about your chat with Roloff and how that got you happy and excited as a founder. If you want to talk more about that, how was that interaction with Sequoia?
Like, I remember like Roloff, like he was like, I don't know, one of the smartest guys I met. He has had just have a huge success with Instagram, investor in YouTube. Like he's the man, right? And I was pitching him about our users, our growth, like, and like, what do they tell you when you're a founder? Just put like the growth curve there, the growth graph there. And when we were there, I remember like Jim Getz interrupting the meeting and said like, is Roloff asking you about the X and Y axis, you know, like where you have to go, what you're measuring there? And he was exactly doing that, you know. And I remember like him being like, taking it, like following on, and like he didn't discard the deal at the moment, you know, like he wanted to pursue that. I know, I felt like in a similar way, like he came from South Africa, we came from Argentina, like we thought that would be like the deal maker, you know, like he would feel identified with us, and he knows we're gonna be as good as he is, so he will invest. And no, like even if we were like,
yeah, but he was asking you a bunch of questions, I guess, right? That was one of the things that he was communicating and being quite curious about the opportunity itself.
Very curious, and
but that's a good sign, though. I mean, even though he didn't invest, I would say that the worst possible outcome you can get from an investor is silence, right? It's a non-response. Would you say that all the good investors that you met were always responsive?
Most of them were. I remember like one of the, I don't know, yeah, but I think that like we weren't ready to raise money from him. We weren't ready to be a Sequoia company. We weren't. If you take me now in front of him, it would be a different conversation. And it wasn't like we weren't prepared to manage their money and take the company to a good place. We weren't mature enough to take the advice they would give us. We weren't mature enough to have those conversations with their other companies and create partnerships. We weren't ready. And I think that the best thing he could do was like to pass, you know. I think that he saw a lot of good things in our company and in the founders and in the founding team, but he knew he had to pass. And I appreciated all his feedback. He never went silent. He gave us a lot of feedback. And that made us learn a lot, you know. I remember
That's awesome.
Getting to the Sequoia office and saying like, okay, we got here, you know, like this is it. And no, that's not, you know, like you got in, like that's all. You got an introduction and he went to the meeting and that's all, you know, but I think that he had to pass. We didn't give him enough tools to say yes.
That's a very mature way of looking at it, because as an investor, I will say that, you know, the worst possible turn downs is when people like you get rejected, and being rejected is horrible. I know, and no one likes it. But the worst ones are the ones where like they respond back to you, say, "Hey, I'm gonna just prove you wrong." Sometimes you get these answers, versus just understanding and having empathy on the other side, saying, why was I rejected? And even if you are interested in proving them wrong, because I've also been rejected many, many, many times raising money, but I'm always trying to understand, why was I rejected? And do I care, right? Because sometimes you're rejected and it was a stupid reason and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But if it's for someone that you appreciate and respect,
it hurts a bit.
Or for someone that invested in people that you want to be in the future, then it certainly hurts more. And I think, you know, you need to understand how you're going to deal with that with the right level of maturity. So I think, the way you're talking about it is pretty interesting. So